Good morning, students. Today, the topic which we will be covering is units and measurement. This is one of the first topics which we will be covering in order to understand the upcoming chapters better. So, before starting, I would like to give you two examples. First is that I ask you to go to your nearest shop and buy a chocolate. Suppose you buy one dairy milk and come back home. I ask you what is the length of your chocolate. So, how will you measure it? You will open your pencil box, take out your scale. It has all its markings here, and then you measure it. Suppose the measurement comes to be 10 centimeter. Okay. Next is I ask you what is your weight. So this you measure on a weighing scale or a weight machine and it comes out to be say 40 kilograms. So in both these cases we see that we measured length in length with a scale and it came to be 10 centimeter. We measured our weight on a weight machine and it came to be 40 kgs. So in either of these cases, there in our measurement there is a number followed by a word or letters which we call as symbols. Okay, so length 10 centimeter, weight 40 kg. And if I ask you how much time does it take for you to reach school from your home, it is time say about 20 minutes. So we can all see that there is a number which is followed by a symbol. So what is this that we are referring to? Numbers can be put in front of anything. And these symbols, these are the units which we are referring to. So what does 10 centimeter length denote? 10 centimeter length denotes that there are 10 1 centimeter units of the chocolate. What does your weight 40 kg denote? Your weight 40 kg denotes that there are 41 kg units. What does time 20 minutes denote? Time 20 minutes means there are 21 minute intervals of time taken in order to reach school. So these words centimeter, kilogram, minutes, these are the units which we are using. So one thing we can be very sure of, unit is a standard of measurement. Now unit is a standard of measurement. Now next question will come. Yes, we understood what is unit, but why do we need units? See, suppose both me and you, we both have the same pencil box. Okay, it is a very beautiful pencil box. Now I ask you what is the length of the pencil box. You say it is about, you say it is 10 centimeter, while I say no, it is 15 centimeter. See, it can't be, we both have the same pencil box. You are saying it is 10 centimeter, I am saying it is 15 centimeter. So we cannot, there is no standardization, and hence we cannot come to the conclusion that what is the original length of the pencil box. How can it be done? If we both have a scale, then we will be measuring it on the scale, and then we will be able to come to the conclusion about its original length. What is this scale? This scale has units of measurement of length. These units are standardized units. Most of the scales, one side it is centimeter and on the other end it is in inches. We will come to what is centimeter, what is inches, why are they different and all everything. But first of all, you have to understand this, that there is a need for a unit being a standard of measurement in order to remove all confusion about various items. So a thing which is 10 centimeter in India, it will be 10 centimeter in US. A thing which is 5 inches in US, it will be 5 inches in India. So we are now clear that what is a unit. Unit is a standard of measurement. The next thing which we will be seeing are units and their various classifications. So the next thing which we will be covering is the SI units and the CGS unit. SI unit and CGS unit. These are the two systems of units which we are commonly using in our day-to-day lives. First, we will be studying about the SI unit. Now, what does this SI unit mean? SI stands for System International. It is a French word which actually means the international system of units. Actually, the entire word is System International D units. Okay, so this means it will be creating confusion, that thing. System International D units or the international system of units which are most commonly used, and this is known as the SI units. Okay, so this is a system of units which is being accepted worldwide, and it is the most common system which we are using in our day-to-day lives. Now, what does this table contain here? This table actually contains the base units. Now, what are the base units? The word which can be seen here. What are the base units? Base units are those which cannot be broken down into further units, while derived units are those which can be built upon the base units. Let me give you an example so it will be clear. We all know about force, or we have either heard the word or we have read about it also. Force is measured in Newton. So what is 1 Newton force? 1 Newton force is 1 kg multiplied by 1 meter per second square acceleration. So 1 Newton force is defined, the force needed in order to obtain 1 meter per second square acceleration for a body of 1 kilogram. So what is Newton here? We are not concerned much about force now. What is Newton here? Newton here is the derived unit, whereas kg, meter, second, these are all base units. So are we clear? Derived units can be obtained from base units, but base units cannot be broken down into further any units. So here we understand that there are 7 base units in the SI system. Length, the base unit is meter, symbol is m. For mass it is kilogram kg. For time it is second. For electrical current it's ampere. For thermodynamic temperature it's Kelvin, or also absolute temperature, because commonly we measure temperature in degrees Celsius or degree Fahrenheit in our homes. Amount of substance is measured in mole. This is more commonly encountered in chemistry. And luminous intensity is measured in candela. You can understand that this will come in the chapter of light and higher. So these are the SI units which have to be remembered. This you will encounter in every chapter of physics, and you will ultimately you will come to know each one of them. There will be no difficulty in remembering them. Now remember, I told you about another system of units which is the CGS system of units. Now what does CGS mean? CGS means nothing but centimeter gram second. So this is another system of units which uses centimeter, gram and second as their units. So if we compare it to the SI units, you can very well understand it here that SI, we drawing a line, and CGS. So what are the parameters? Length, mass and time. For length, what is the SI unit? It is meter. For CGS, it is centimeter. For mass, the SI unit of it is kilogram. For CGS, it is gram. And for time, it is both same, seconds and seconds. So the SI system, we can very well infer from here why the SI system is also known as the MKS system, while this is known as the CGS system. MKS stands nothing but for meter, kg, seconds, while CGS stands for centimeter, gram, seconds. So we are clear. The CGS system can also be used, and both these units are actually interconvertible. We will be understanding that when we go to the conversion factors and all. Seconds is same for both. There is no need for conversion here. So this will be done because kilo is actually a prefix which is used in front of gram, while centi is also prefix which is used in front of meter. So these are interconvertible, and so we are clear about both these units. Let's do a quick revision that SI units is the most commonly used units in all over world. They have 7 base quantities, out of which we most commonly use the length, mass, time, electric current and thermodynamic temperature. Then we have another system of units which is known as the CGS or the centimeter gram second unit. The only difference is that the length, mass and time units are different, and other units are also different. For example, for electric current, they don't use ampere, they use a quantity named B volt, which is symbol is Bi, which is actually equal to 10 ampere. But these are the things which are needed at other levels, not here. So, and derived units and base units, I think we are clear that base units cannot be broken down into any further subdivisions, while derived units are actually obtained from base units. So the next thing which we will be studying are the prefixes which we are using in order to mention the units, and we will be seeing what are those and how they are helping us. So the next thing which we will be covering are the prefixes. Now what is a prefix? In order to understand that, you can very well see that we have discussed earlier that centimeter, kilogram, milligram. Isn't that so? We can all understand here that meter, gram, these are the units, while centi, kilo, milli, sometimes tera, giga, micro, these are all prefixes which we are using in front of the meters in order to understand. Now, what is a prefix and what is a scaling factor? In this table you can see here is a word which is written, which is a scaling factor. A scaling factor is actually the power of 10 to which we multiply the unit in order to obtain the other derived physics, the prefixed unit. Sorry, I told it is a derived unit. It's not at all a derived unit. So what is, how we will, this is actually what is 1 centimeter in terms of meter. So we see that centi has a scaling factor of 10 to the power minus 2. So 1 centimeter would be 1 into 10 to the power minus 2 meter. Similarly, if we have 1 kilogram, it will be how many grams? So we see that kilo has a scaling factor of 10 to the power 3. So 1 kilogram would be how much? You tell. Yes, 1 into 10 to the power 3 grams. So are we clear about scaling factor? Scaling factor is the power of 10 to which you have to multiply in order to obtain the prefixed unit in the original unit. Similarly, if it would have been, say, not 1 but 11 centimeter, then it would have been 11 into 10 to the power minus 2 meter. If it would have been 31 kilograms, then we would be writing here 31 into 10 to the power 3 grams. So these are all interchangeable. Now, what are the common prefixes which we are using and how? See, this is actually a long list which you will encounter now and then. You don't have to remember it very often, but few of which you will eventually learn and memorize it without any effort. There is no need to think about it. I will start with the most common ones which we are very much familiar with. One is kilo, kilogram, kilometer. See, here it is written mass is often measured in kilograms, that is 1000 grams. It means 1 kilogram is 1000 grams. You have deci. You don't use deci nowadays very much. It is used in measuring fluids and liquids. Deciliter. Centimeter is a very common one which we are using. Millimeter is very common. Millimeter, milligram, milliliter. You have 500 milliliter bottles. See, micrometer is one which is used very much in order to describe microorganisms, lengths, bacteria. Viruses are often described in nanometer. Nanometer is also used for the computer peripherals and chips and everything. And nowadays we are using tera, giga and mega very commonly in computer science. We are using terabyte, gigabyte, megabyte. So what mega is 10 to the power 6, giga is 10 to the power 9 and tera is 10 to the power 12. You can very well find this table anywhere, and you have to just go through it once or twice, and then eventually you will remember it all when you do all the sums and when you proceed further. So we are clear about prefixes. Prefixes are words which are used in front of units in order to shorten them or elongate them. See, it is not convenient to write 11 into 10 to the power minus 2 meter every time, right? Or if you write it in decimal form, it will be some like 0.0, no, sorry, I'm extremely sorry here, it will be 0.11 meter, and this will be 31,000 grams. See, it is not very convenient and it is not very easy to see or understand. So instead of writing 0.11 meter, you can write 11 centimeter. Or instead of writing 31,000 gram, you can easily write 31 kgs. Right. So this is all about prefixes and why do we use them. The next thing which we will be studying is the conversion factor. So the next thing which we will be learning about is unit conversion. Now, why is unit conversion necessary? Unit conversion is necessary in order to solve problems in which the units are not constant among everything. So, for example, let's say I tell you that it took me 5 hours, 20 minutes and 30 seconds to finish homework. So, how many seconds did I take? Now, in order to solve this, you have to know how to convert hours, minutes and seconds into seconds. So we will finish this question afterwards, or you can try for yourself when we understand how do we convert units. See, for conversion of units, you have to remember one thing, that when you are converting units, you not only have to take the numbers into account but the units into account as well. For example, in the same time example which we are using here, we can say that 1 minute and 60 seconds is the same. See, this does not mean that 1 by 60 equals to 1. No, never. This is not which I am meaning to say. I am meaning to say that 1 minute and 60 seconds are both equal quantities of time. Similarly, 1 kg and 1000 gram, these are also the same amount of weight. 1 meter and 100 centimeter, this is also the same amount of length. See, you have to consider the units which I have told previously, then only it is both are equivalent, equal number of units. Okay, 1 minute is equivalent to 60 seconds, 1 kg weight is equal to 1000 gram weight, 1 meter length is equal to 100 centimeter length. So what are these helping us to be? These are helping us as conversion factors. Now how will you do it? I'll show you. There are actually two ways with which we can do it. Either we can do it, wait, let me get some space around here. Yeah, this is nice. Either we can do it in unitary method, or we can do it using a conversion factor. Both are eventually the same, which you will be seeing because we arrive at the same result. How we can do it with unitary method? Unitary method is very simple. If 1 minute has 60 seconds, so 10 minutes will have 60 divided by 1 into 10, that is equals to 600 seconds. Similarly, 15 minutes will have how many seconds? 60 divided by 1 into 15, that is equals to how much? 900 seconds. So this is a unitary method. It's very easy and simple. Another way which you can do is using the conversion factor. That how will you do it? That you will do it in this method. If you are asked to convert 5 kilometers into centimeters. Now see what you have to do. First you have to convert, the kilo and centi, these are prefixes and meter is the original one. So 5 kilometer means 5 kilometer into, what is the conversion factor here for kilometer and meter? It is, wait, first let me write it here. 1 kilometer equals to 1000 meter. So I need to convert it into meters. So what I will be doing is I will be multiplying it with 1000 meter divided by 1 kilometer. This is actually equivalent to 1, just like I have said it here. Yeah, see, just like I have said it here that 1 meter 100 centimeter is the same. Similarly, 1 kilometer and 1000 meter, this is also the same amount of length, so it will be same. So 5 kilometer into 1000 meter by 1 kilometer, this will come to be 5000 meter. Now again you have to convert meter to centimeter because the answer is asked in centimeter. So what is the conversion for centimeter? You are very well aware here. We have written it here that 1 meter and 100 centimeter is the same. So 5000 meter into 100 centimeter divided by 1 meter. So what does it come to me? 5000, then again 2 zeros, centimeter. So it comes 5 lakh centimeter. Actually this is necessary in order to understand how to convert 5 kilometer into centimeter. So what is the answer which has come? 5 kilometer equals to 5,000,000 centimeter. See, this is also another reason which is shown why we are using prefixes. It is not at all convenient to write 5 lakh centimeters in order to understand that the length is 5 kilometers. Also 5,000 meters also feels so cumbersome. So we are using the prefixes here like 5 kilometer. So I hope you have understood the conversion factor. If you have not, please mention me. I will be understanding it again. So the thing is that you have to keep in mind that equivalent amount of any unit can be divided among itself. Now if we come to solve this question, we will be understanding it one final time. So 5 hours and 20 minutes. First we will be converting 5 hours. 5 hours means 5 hours into how many minutes does 1 hour have? 60 minutes divided by 1 hour. Both are same, equivalent. So we have 300 minutes. And we again have 20 minutes. So 300 plus 20, that is equals to 320 minutes. You understand, na? 20 minutes is also written there in the question. So 320 minutes we have to convert into seconds. This means 320 minutes into 60 seconds by 1 minute. I have previously mentioned that 1 minute and 60 seconds are equivalent. So this will come to 63, 18, 62, 12, 1, 9, 2, 0, 0 seconds. It should come this 192, 63, 18, 62, 12, 19200 seconds, and another we have 30 seconds. So we are adding 30 seconds to it plus 30 seconds, that means 19,230 seconds. Clear? See, again you can understand that it is easy to write 5 hours 20 minutes and 30 seconds rather than confusing someone by writing 19,230 seconds. If you tell this, he won't be able to understand how much time did you take. He will be telling that you took much longer time than he took. He will tell I took 6 hours, you took 19,230 seconds. It is a very much longer time. So I hope we are clear about unit conversion. And those prefixes, if you want to convert prefixes, you just have to multiply it with the scaling factor. That has nothing to do with these conversion factors and all. If you have 1 kilometer in meter, you have to understand scaling factor is 10 to the power 3, that is 10 to the power 3 meter. If we have 5 kilograms, scaling factor is again 10 to the power 3, so 5 into 10 to the power 3 grams. See, there is nothing much to think about it, just you have to know the scaling factor and do it. So we are done with the unit conversion thing. Next we will be talking about some examples and then finishing the chapter. Now we will be talking about some examples. Length. What is the SI unit of length? Tell me, also known as the MKS system. So meter kilogram second. And what is the CGS unit? Come on, C for centimeter. So you measure your any scale, your pen, your pencil in centimeters, but few things cannot be measured in centimeters. Suppose everyone of you know Mount Everest. What is the height of Mount Everest? It is somewhere about 9 into 10 to the power 3 meters. So tell me, what will be the prefix which we will be using? 10 to the power 3. 10 to the power 3 stands for kilo. So 9 kilometer. Similarly, the distance between Jalpaiguri and Siliguri, it is measured in kilometers. It is around 45 kilometers. Now if we talk about greater lengths, when we talk about greater lengths, like suppose radius of Earth. The radius of Earth is a very huge number. If we write it in SI units, it is 6 into 10 to the power 6 meter. We know that 10 to the power 6 stands for mega. So we can write megameter, but we don't usually write it. What is the thickness of this page? Have you ever imagined the page in which you are writing? What is the thickness of this page? The thickness of a page is about 1 into 10 to the power minus 4 meter. That comes to be 0.1 millimeter. How it is 0.1 millimeter? You are very much sure that it is 0.1 millimeter because 10 to the power minus 3 is the prefix for milli. So 10 to the power minus 4 is 10 to the power minus 3 into 10 to the power minus 1 meter. That is 10 to the power minus 1 millimeter or 0.1 millimeter. So we are clear with it. Next we have examples of time. Time is usually measured in seconds everywhere in both SI and CGS. What is the length of day? You know it is 24 hours because it is the common thing. But how many seconds? It is about 9 into 10 to the power 4 seconds. See, in time we don't use that mega kiloseconds and all. You have never heard it because it is not the common thing. Common is use seconds. After seconds you use minutes, then you use hours, then days. It is a separate system you can tell about. Time is measured in such of things. Now what is the time between two heartbeats? Time between two heartbeats is 8 into 10 to the power minus 1 seconds, that is 0.8 seconds. With this I have an interesting thing. With this data you can actually measure what is the common heartbeat, what is the pulse rate, how many times does your heartbeat in 1 minute. You can find it very easily. If it takes for 0.8 seconds for one heartbeat, then what is the number of heartbeats in 1 minute? Please comment below the answer. Heartbeats in 1 minute. I'll be waiting for your answer in the comment box. Please comment how many heartbeats. If it takes 0.8 seconds, the time between two heartbeats, what is the number of heartbeats in 1 minute? Next thing, the last examples which I want to give is about mass. Mass we measure in SI system in mks, so kilograms. In CGS, cg, g for gram, so we measured in kgs, grams, milligrams. What do we measure in milligrams? In order to understand this, best thing which you go to your store with your parents or alone, where you buy your monthly items. You buy sugar in kgs, while you buy other things in grams, some spices in grams, some spices even in milligrams, needed very little in cooking. But one thing which I would like to tell is what is the atomic mass unit, which is another unit of mass which will be used in chemistry once you come across it. Atomic mass unit, you can understand that this is used to measure the mass of atoms. Mass of atoms is very low, means you cannot see it na. So how much low it is, you can imagine. It is 1 in 1.66 into 10 to the power minus 27 kilograms. Minus 27, you can understand. Milligram is 10 to the power minus 3 grams, which is actually 10 to the power minus 6 kilograms. So you understand how much less it is. In order to have a multiplying factor of scaling factor of 10 to the power minus 27, right? So these are all things which you will come across later. So this is what we have learned from this chapter. We have learned from this chapter is what is units and why do we measure them. Unit is a standard of measurement. It helps us in measuring. What is the SI unit? What is the CGS units? We have understood them very perfectly. What are prefixes and how they are used? What is a conversion factor and how you can convert units among themselves? Okay, and then what are the various examples and everything. And I hope this chapter is very clear to every one of you. If you have any doubts, you can comment below, or I'm giving out my email ID. You can email me. Email ID is basubiswasunav@gmail.com. You can very well email me if you have any doubts which you want to ask on email. So this is all we have for this chapter. I hope you like what you see. If you have any necessary things which you want to say, or if you feel something I have missed out on this chapter, please write it in the comment box below. Okay, so have a great day and nice learning, and please understand this chapter, because this chapter will form the base of what we are going to study afterwards. Just I said, like base units, this is a base unit chapter of physics, and from this chapter we will be deriving the other things. Okay, so here is I am signing off. Thank you.